What's up guys, it's Julian. Today I'm a little sick and I'm going to be showing you how to make cosmic techno. We're going to be talking not just about how to make the sounds, but also a little bit about the arrangement and kind of how to lay it all out and make it work. As usual, you can get the full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, everything that you just heard in the intro is available at the top of the description for just $5. This really helps support me. If you guys enjoyed these videos, go grab it for sure. You're going to get a really solid template that you can make tracks out of. Plus, it's going to really help support me and keep me going so I can keep bringing you guys new videos like this every single day. Thank you so much for the support, guys, and let's dive in. So we're at 130 BPM. The first thing we have here is the kick. So this is made with 4 layers. We start with just the main kick. Completely dry. This is a kick that I made with some saturation. Then we have our rumble, which is just the same kick, you can see. And you can see it's playing this pattern. And then you put it through a little bit of reverb. Low pass it, and then you get that nice rumbly bass. And then you just want to make sure you convert it to mono, because if your bass is in stereo, you're going to have a real problem. And then it's also being sidechained. Then we have this punch layer. Without it. With it. So you can hear. There's just this nice crunchy multi-band distorted kick. It's the same kick that I've been using for all 3 layers. And yes, you can see this one's got the lows, have nothing on them. And then we're just distorting the mids and highs with some pedal distortion over here. And then I'm using the EQ8 to cut out the low one. And then the final layer is this one, which you can hear just kind of adds some groove. And that's the same kick, but this one has a bandpass filter. And then on the group there, so all we have is just an EQ, cutting out some of the low frequencies that we wouldn't really hear, that can still make your mix very muddy. We have a utility converting the whole thing to mono just to make sure. And then I have a high pass filter, which just comes on it sometimes. And this is a big part of the arrangement. When you have this kick just constantly going, you really want to make sure that you have the high pass filter, because that's going to really give you those transitions. And especially over here, once you get into your main drop, you need to have this little part that's kind of okay, the drop starts here, goes even further, then it goes all out with everything right here, and then here the kick is high pass, and we have some noise, and then it all comes together to make that transition. You can use that to transition now into the outro of your track. So that's why we really want to make sure that we have that throughout the track. And then we just have these stabs. So these are made with really similar patches. You can see this first one here is made with operator. So it's 3 sine waves here at all different octaves, you can see, with kind of these shorter plucky envelopes. And then I'm using the hard shaper to make it even crunchier. Then I have a high pass filter, a bit of echo, a bit of reverb as well. Another high pass which comes on at some of these points just to make sure there's no low one. And then there's just another one at the end of the chain. You can never have too much high passing. And then with this one, so the secret to this one is that it's 2 very different sounds layered together to make one very fat sound. We have this donk bass. You can see that's pretty similar actually to the last sound I showed you, where it's that hard shaper distortion on the FM sine waves. And then we have this, which has a little bit of automation as well. So it's this wavetable growly sound. And then you put those together, and you get a really full sound. And then there's just have a little bit of saturation, some reverb, high pass, auto pan, and then you can ignore that last. Then we have our main hi-hat, which is 3 layers. So we got this one, and then this one for some sizzle. And you put them all together and you get one really full, fat sounding hi-hat. We also have all these shakers here, which are really just 3 layers. So the secret is we have one which is just or 2 really, but it kind of works together to be one, where it's these 2 different hi-hats. And you can see it's just adding constant 16th notes in there. But what it really helps with is when you have the 2 different layers. because you're hearing the difference in the two different sounds. And then we also have the shaker loop, or like tambourine. And it just gives it kind of like a steady, like. Then on the groove of that, we just have a little bit of a high-end boost. I have this ride, which is just going like like that. And then we have my stereo winding rack, as well as this auto pan. Then we just have like a little clap which comes in. And you can see kind of like following the arrangement stuff I was telling you about, like you can see in the beginning you don't really get it that much. You don't get it much here. And then once we get to this main part where everything's going, it becomes a more recurring element. So it's a really nice way to kind of like keep that energy like moving, is just to have this start playing more as it goes on. And that's just a clap, a little bit of echo, this auto pan to kind of make it bounce off in the kick, kind of fit into the groove a little better, and then just some drum bus to make it a bit fatter and crunchier. And then we have this lead. So for the notes here, we're in the key of G minor. And you can see, so basically, like, if we're looking at this from music theory-wise, so G, just the root note, then we got a fifth there, D, minor third, ninth, and then back down to the root note. So it's only 4 notes up here that we're using, and then down here it's just that same G, and then it goes down actually to the 6th, which is D sharp, which secretly is a fancy way of saying 1 note up from the 5th up there. So it's pretty simple, but it's really like that chord progression where it goes like from to. And then for the sound, so this is made with 2 layers. It's this one wavetable, which is just a saw wave, and then this one, which is the same thing but with some unison. Both of these have an envelope on the filter cutoff, you can see. And then we can control that over here. And yeah, then we have a bit of multiband distortion. So this is that same technique I've shown you guys a lot. The secret here though is you want to use the EQ3 before the distortion and after the distortion. Now this may not be correct, quote unquote, but I find that it just sounds really good because you get kind of like a different type of crunch to it when you're really, like, if you do it this way where there's only EQ3 after, you still have all that mid-range stuff coming through. And all that low-end stuff that's getting distorted. But if you do this, you can see it's just distorting the mids. And then we can use the dry wet here and blend it. And again, like I'll show you, here's the difference without this. And then with it. So it really makes it crunchier and fatter. And here's without this. You can see it's just adding an extra layer on top, but that's all you need. Then we just have a bit of echo, which has some automation. So that's what's creating this big, like those things. And then the secret is that I also have the reverb on, so you're getting reverb and delay with that. Then there's a little bit of drum bus, which is blended on there. I have a low pass filter, which kind of makes this thing go down a little bit in here. Kind of helps the arrangement a bit. And allows you to focus like on this. Then we just have this EQ8 here, cutting out some lows at the end. And then we have this little bass that comes in the second half. So notes-wise, it's just following the root notes of that lead I just showed you, if you notice. See, they change at the same time. And then for the sound on this one, it's made also with that same method actually, where you take one unison wavetable and then one non-unison wavetable. And then just put them together. And then I'm automating this macro here, which has the filter frequencies mapped to it. And there's also an envelope on the filter frequency inside of the synth. Then we just have a little bit of reverb, a little bit of drum bus, a high pass to get rid of any low end that we get in the way of like the kick or the bass. And then finally we have this auto pan to make it bounce off in the kick. Then we have this layer. So I'll play this without any effects. So this is actually a recording I made with the pedal board over here a little while ago. And what I do is I usually just record stuff. Like I'll just sit down with the guitar or with the synth, or even with like sending sounds out of my computer. And then I'll basically just put them through that and just make whatever sounds good. And then later, when I'm making a track like this, I can be like, oh, we need a little pad here. Let's go back to that sample. So that's what that is. It's a sample I made a while ago, and then I just took a little chunk of it. And then that just kind of fits, it's like call and response with the lead. See, you kind of get like this nice thing. And then also have a filter building up on that to kind of make it like come in. And yeah, then the only other things down here are just the effects. We have like a white noise sweep. You know, pretty simple, just some white noise inside of operator. And then the secret is you use a bandpass filter. A lot of people think it's a low pass, but it doesn't sound like good if you use a low pass. You want to use a bandpass. And you can use this for down and up here. You can see like, even in the transition. Then we have just like this one. So you want to keep a pretty good amount of stuff kind of in the background of the track. It's going to get a bit boring if you don't have this stuff. So just having like this little like that can come in there, you know, really goes a long way to keep the track exciting. And then we just have this little reverse crash from the transition here. And yeah, so that's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, literally every single thing from this video is available right at the top of the description on my Bandcamp. Definitely go grab that. It really helps support me. If you haven't already, you know, you can get a really awesome template that will take your tracks to the next level. Plus, it's going to help support me. We both win here, and most importantly, you are going to take your tracks to the next level and get where you've been trying to get. Thank you so much for the support, guys, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.